Today, I'm about to share a story with you that is a true reflection of my life. A story filled with pain, anger, and eventually the hope of a new life. Imagine this: a little girl who should have been safe in her own home, but her closest relative, her own father, was trying to destroy her. And then, after years of suffering, I took revenge. Yes, I killed him. Would you like to know how a weak girl became a powerful woman? This story is worth hearing till the end because it is not just mine, but the voice of thousands of women. Let me start from the beginning. My name is Bridget, but consider me your sister. I was born in New York in 1981. My parents came from Liberia, a poor country where life was hard. When I was only 2, my mother left me. Just like that. I stayed with my father, Eric. He was a tall man, dark-skinned, with eyes that always scared me. We lived in a small house in Long Island, quiet and peaceful on the outside, but inside, there was a dark secret. I remember when I was 5 years old. It was nighttime, and the house was dimly lit. I was sleeping in my room, holding an old doll to my chest. Suddenly, the door opened. "Bridget, are you awake?" My father's voice, soft but terrifying. He sat on the bed, and his hands... Oh God, how do I explain? He said, "This is love, daughter. Fathers love their daughters like this." I cried, screamed, but he said, "Shut up. If anyone hears, our house will fall apart." That was the start of a long night, one that lasted for years. Every night, when my mother wasn't there, he used me. Marks on my body, but wounds on my heart that would never heal. I also had a sister, Carlene. She was older than me, and the same happened to her. We both stayed silent because, in our culture, family honor was the most important thing. In Liberia, people say obey your father, no matter what. But this was wrong, terribly wrong. At school, I was always alone. Friends asked, "Bridget, why are you so sad?" I'd smile and say, "Nothing, just tired." But inside, I was screaming. One day, the teacher said, "If anyone is troubled, tell me." I thought of telling her, but then I was scared. What would happen if my father found out? My father went back to Liberia when I was young, and I stayed with my grandmother. But there, the pain continued. My grandmother would hit me, and a cousin, he too touched me. I wondered, why was this happening to me? Was I bad? These questions were eating me alive. When I turned 17, I ran away from home. I got a job as a security guard at the airport. There, I would see families, happy families, and think, why don't I have that? At night, I couldn't sleep. My father's face haunted my dreams, and I'd wake up screaming. Then one day, Carlene called me. "Bridget, Dad is back. He wants to see you." My heart skipped a beat. After all these years, he was back? I thought maybe he had changed. We met in a small apartment. There, my niece was sitting in his lap. She was a little girl, innocent, smiling. And my father's eyes, that same gleam. It reminded me of my childhood. I told Carlene, "Look, this is wrong. He wants to take them to Liberia, and there, he'll do the same to them as he did to us." Carlene cried, "No, he has changed." But I knew he hadn't. That night, anger was boiling inside me. I thought, enough. This has to end. I called him to my apartment. "Come, let's talk." He came, smiling. "Daughter, how are you?" I said, You destroyed me." He laughed. "This was love, daughter. This happens in Liberia." Hearing that, my blood boiled. I tied him to a chair with handcuffs. He screamed, "What are you doing?" I stuffed a towel in his mouth. "Shut up, just like you made me shut up." Then I killed him. I pressed my hands around his neck until he stopped moving. And then I cut off the part of him that he used on me with a knife, because I wanted him to never hurt anyone again. This wasn't revenge, it was protection. For my nieces and for every girl who is weak. After that, I panicked. I called the police. I've done something. But then I called Carlene. She came, saw me, and said, "Let's go to the hospital." I was admitted to the hospital, feeling like a mental patient. The police arrested me, charged me with murder. The trial happened in 2009. In court, I told everything. Judge, he raped me since childhood. I saved my sister and my nieces. My lawyer said, this is the story of an abused woman. The jury gave me a lesser sentence, manslaughter, 5 to 15 years. But 3 years later, I was released on parole. People helped me, even politicians, because they knew this was justice. Now, after hearing this story, how do you feel? Pain? Anger? Hope? These were all my emotions. I want you to feel that you are not alone. If you or someone you love is in pain, don't stay silent. Get help. There are helplines, NGOs that listen to you. And remember, instead of revenge, seek justice through the law. My story is proof that you can escape pain. If this video touched you, like, share, and subscribe so that more voices are raised. May God keep you all safe. Goodbye. Now, let's continue with more details. More childhood memories. When I was 6, one night it was raining. Water was dripping from the roof. I was hiding under a blanket, scared. The door opened and my father came in. Bridget, are you cold? Come. Daddy will warm you up. His voice had a false affection. He touched me, and I cried. Dad, it hurts. He said, shut up. This is love. You'll understand when you grow up. The next morning I went to school, my body aching, but I smiled. The teacher asked, what happened? Nothing, I fell down. This lie became a daily routine. When I turned 10, there was a trip to Liberia. There, I tried to meet my mother. She met me, but when I told her, Mom, Dad is... She said, shut up, that's a lie. You're crazy. I cried, but no one listened. When I returned, the abuse continued. Carlene, too, would cry at night. One night, we talked. Sister, was it the same with you? She said yes. We promised one day we'd tell. But out of fear, we stayed silent. When I became a teenager, I got a job. At the airport, I saw people. One day, a woman came, crying. Madam, what happened? She said, my husband beats me. I thought my story is the same, but I told her, get help. That was my first step to feeling powerful. Then came the day of revenge. The apartment was small, with old pictures on the walls. My father came, sat down. Daughter, you've become beautiful. I said, you didn't make me beautiful. You destroyed me. He became angry. That's a lie. I took the handcuffs, which I had gotten from my job, and tied him up. He screamed, let me go. I said, just like you let me go? No. Then I pressed around his neck. His eyes widened, filled with fear. I remembered my fear. Then with the knife. After doing this, I thought, now he can't hurt anyone. At the hospital, the doctors asked, why did you do it? I told them everything. During the trial, witnesses came. Carlene said, yes, he did wrong to us. The jury saw my pain. I got a sentence, but it was lesser. In prison, I thought this is my new beginning. I read books, went to therapy. Now I am free. Message. Sisters, if you're in pain, scream. Call a helpline, talk to your friends. Seek justice, not revenge. And to the men, protect the women. Share this video so no one else suffers. Subscribe and tell your story in the comments. We are in this together.